Hello everyone and welcome to episode 19 of Weaverbirds Live TV with me, Karen Weaver, and
me, Emma Weaver. Hi.
hello everyone. And yes, we were just chatting there behind the scenes. Every single week we're there and we're watching. There's a few minutes left and then we get into a tangent of a conversation. You're going, oh shit, hurry up and go live, because with the platform we use, you have to go live at the exact time, but we can get distracted gabbering behind the scenes.
We have to catch up. So much happens.
We absolutely do. It's my Friday morning therapy and Emma's Thursday night therapy.
Fridays are always good.
Good. Yeah, it's also fun. But this week we are talking about intention, and we did say, what are we going to talk about that happened last week? But I just recovered from a cold. You may hear that a bit. But we went ice skating. My kids have been doing ice skating, which is really interesting. We've been doing it now for 6 weeks. So it's going to be, we all now want to become professional figure skaters. So it's going to be interesting. And maybe with their Irish dancing background, it might be interesting to see. but we'll see.
Well, to tell you, stranger things have happened.
I know, but Emma, you come the whole way to Australia to keep warm, not to go and sit in an ice rink on a Sunday all day. It's freezing.
It's the Irish
it
blood
makes me
them.
feel like I'm home.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's the Irish blood in them. They just can't get away from the cold.
It's so fun. It is so fun, I have to admit. And then you guys have had really good weather over there.
Yeah, we had lovely weather last weekend, and because I was giggling to myself, you were way off ice skating freezing, and it was lovely here at the weekend, and I took my youngest girl. We just went to the beach and chilled out in Bundoran for a day over the weekend. It was lovely, so it was good to do it.
Some of my best memories are in Bundoran and Rosnala, as a kid. It's just those things. But yeah, you were off to the beach and I was off to the ice rink. It's kind of roles reversed.
And that never happens with us because you're always in the sunshine and we're always in the rain.
Well, it's winter here in Australia. We're waking up and putting on heaters in the morning, You'll see me shivering some of these mornings.
It's unreal how it is absolute complete opposites.
Yeah,
total opposite.
But our temperature is probably the same as yours. It's just we feel it colder because we're used to the heat, and our blood will be thinner. It's really bizarre.
Do you remember whenever you first went over? Wasn't it in at the end of August, the beginning of September? And what season is that over there? It's coming into spring, and you were in summer clothes because obviously you were coming from here, and everybody over there was wearing jumpers, and you were like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's funny because people here are wearing coats and everything, and whereas if it was that weather in Ireland, we're in bikinis.
Yeah, totally.
It's so fun to think about. All right. This week we're talking about intention. Hey, Peace.
The miracle of intent.
Oh, something did happen, Emma. This came.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my goodness.
It came yesterday and I just sat and went through it and I'm in love. It's bad to say I'm in love with my own book, but this I know is going, if people work through it, is going to change lives. It's like, so exciting.
That is beautiful.
There's one on its way to you expressly. You'll have yours next week.
Yeah, I can't wait. That's beautiful.
This is the intention section.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. So that's covering each one of these elements that we're talking about.
Yeah. We have our little affirmations, miracle, and then our declutter. The power of a declutter.
That is beautiful.
And you set the intention to declutter this week, didn't you, Emma?
Well, that was hilarious because I just happened to tell you that I've been running around all day today, and I have a skip out the side of my house. It's the third one in about 6 or 7 months, and it's not that I have a load of, well, I probably am a bit of a hoarder, but that's okay. But this really is a declutter. This is the rest was like necessities. This is like I am being ruthless and decluttering and just creating more spaces in the house just for different things, whatever. And when I was telling you that, you were saying one of the first things, and I think
It's the
you
first
wouldn't
thing.
believe it. You put up a quote. Did you put up a quote today about decluttering or
Yes,
something? Because I was like,
yes.
oh man, because I had just got the skip.
And that's what I do every now and again. I remind people to declutter because when you declutter, whether it's mental declutter or physical declutter, it creates room for magic.
Yeah.
And it's really important to do because, and that's why it's important to declutter before you set intentions, because then you can kind of create the space for the intentions to come to fruition without having to sacrifice something that you already have and treasure. So it's kind of like a way to manage it, because when you set an intention and something starts to come into your life, your life starts to shift around to allow that intention to for that thing to come into your life because you've put your energy on it. But if you're already jam packed and your
Yeah.
life is full, it's going to shift something out that you may want to keep or may treasure. So you really want to create the space for your intentions to come to fruition. That's why it's really important to do a declutter. But it's important to do it anyway, whether you're setting intentions or not,
Yeah.
because as we grow, as we evolve, we need to things we outgrow things. There's things that don't serve us anymore. There's things that are with us for a season, and some people hold on for a lifetime, and that's just so wrong because it weighs you down. It holds you back when we're all right on this earth to keep moving forward and evolve. And so that's why it's important to do these declutters. I do them. I am in the rhythm, the law of rhythm. I'm in the rhythm of doing it when my kids are on school holidays, because that's when I get kind of clarity. I do a mental shift in my business. I go back a gear, and then I can see things clearly, what needs to stay, what needs to, we've grown out of and need to move on from. So
Yeah.
that's why we do that. And it's a conscious thing that we do, but it's so powerful. Emma,
Do you
it's
know?
amazing what
I know. Do
happens
you know
when
what
that.
your that's sound? This is going to sound really funny, and I'm going to go off on a wee bit of a tangent here. But we are reading the book James K by James Kerr Legacy, and it's about the All Blacks, and it's about leadership and different styles, and it's really, really, really good. And one of the things that kept coming up, and it was ritualize to actualize, and see what you're after saying there now. That's now like a ritual that you do every year without realizing, and it's in the book, ritualize to actualize. And because you do that at the same time every year, it becomes a ritual, because rituals can be anything. They don't have to be daily
Mhm.
or monthly or whatever. There's something that you're in tune with that you do regularly, and
Yeah,
to actualize, to
yeah.
bring
Oh,
your intentions.
absolutely. It just makes sense. And a lot of the things with the universal laws and with all of these things, we do a lot of things without even
Yeah.
identifying that that's what it is. But when we do it consciously and we're aware, we can use it so it's so much more impactively on our lives. It's so exciting to watch it happen. And because I do this, it actually shifts blocks and opens up this amazing flow of abundance that just comes in through that, which is not the actual intention, but it's just an added bonus from
Yeah.
the action I took. And it's kind of like the way you get somebody. It's not junk, but something that somebody's moved on from is somebody else's treasure. So
Yeah.
somebody comes behind you, and I use the example of like a volunteer role. So if you're volunteering for an organization, you don't have to volunteer for a lifetime. You're in there, you're serving, you're using it for a purpose. But when it's time to move on, it's time to move on, and you have to honor that. But then you can give somebody else the opportunity, for them to then grow and advance. So that's what
Totally.
I always use the example of that. Sorry, I'm going to cough. So Emma, take over.
No worries. And really just then to talk about the miracle of intent, because we're talking about intent now. I was very lucky. I'm in the book, and if Peace is still watching, Peace is in the book as well.
Yay!
She has a chapter in it as well. And you know what the question that always comes up, Karen, and I'm going to read this wee bit out of it. If you don't mind, I'm
No,
going to
go for
read
it.
a bit of your book to you.
I'm going to
Um,
mute and just cough again. So you go
yeah.
ahead.
And it's about people always ask the difference between intentions and goals, and I think it's good for us to kind of chat about that. So I'm going to say intentions are a commitment to an end result. Goals are planned, intentions are embraced. So there
Yes.
is a difference, isn't there, between intention, setting an
Oh,
intention and letting it
I
go, and a goal being very structured and assertive, isn't there?
I love talking about the differences between intentions and goals. It's just my perspective, so you can dismiss it or challenge it if you want. But this is my perspective and how I action it. So whenever you set an intention, then you can, you can do a big, fat, audacious goal. You're just putting something out to there, the dream, the desire, the biggest thing you want, and you believe, you fuel it with belief and say, I believe that this is possible. I'm putting it out there. If divine timing's in motion, it's all going to happen. And I'm going to be aware and mindful of the opportunities and inspired thoughts that are aligned with that intention. And I'm going to have the courage to action them. And that's where your knowing comes in, to be able to identify what those are that's aligned with that intention. And we talked about knowing last week for anybody that's watching this one on a replay. But whenever you set a goal, and goals are really important too, but whenever you set a goal, you've got a really tangible thing that you want to reach. And it's going to stay as the goal. The goal is probably not going to change. It's going to stay there. Whereas on an intention can grow and evolve and get so much bigger than your mind can even imagine when you set the intention, because you go on this journey to the intention, and it's kind of like going on the best road trip ever. And I love the journey, so much, that whenever I get to the destination, I'm like, wow, that was an epic ride. Whereas with goals, and there's nothing wrong with goals either, if you've got that kind of a brain that really enjoys things being set out.
Set
With,
out.
with goal, you have an end result, and then you have clear and concise steps to reach that goal. And that's where your focus is on achieving each one of those steps individually to get to your goal. That's where, business plans come into play and things like that. And goals are important because they keep, things moving and progressing. Whereas intentions are more intuitive. You really need to be able to connect to your knowing and things like that to be able to get the most out of them. And you need to have courage. So both are really important, but both are very different in my eyes.
Oh, totally. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you and I would have even talked about this way, way, way back. And then obviously, whenever you're talking about setting intentions, and faith and belief come in a lot. And
Yeah.
whilst they're not exactly what you would wrap around it either, but you have to just let it go, don't you? You need to be very clear on what your intention is. I mean,
Mhm.
crystal clear what you want, and
Yeah.
believe and feel that it's going to happen. So that all plays a part in it. Whereas a goal, you're definitely more. I'm probably a lot of goals. It's very structured. It's very, this is what I need to do, and this is what I need to do. One complements each other probably along the
Yeah.
way, but definitely.
Absolutely. And you can have many goals in the way to your intentions, but the many goals come from inspired thoughts that you
Yes.
actually act on and may not even identify as an inspired thoughts. It's aligned with the bigger intention. Because when you set the intention, you're not saying, this is it, rigid. That's what you're allowing anything. It's so much bigger than you can even fathom. I always use the example of um, Serenity Press. When I had the seedling of an idea, and how dare I have the seedling of an idea to set up a $1 million press, back in 2012, that was a seedling of an idea that I actioned. And I said, okay, let's go on this journey. Let's see where it goes. So I planted the seed, and goodness, it started to come to, things started to happen, and you feel it moving forward. But I could never have even fathomed what it would have become back then, because my mindset wasn't there. I didn't,
Yeah.
have but I was open to the possibilities, and I allowed it to grow organically. So I didn't have the business plan because I couldn't have possibly had the business plan. The business plan would have restricted me in that case, because it was such a big, huge goal. Because I set the intention of building $1 million press by investing 50 Australian dollars, which is £25 a week, into the business, and just to see where it went. And and like that wasn't that long ago. That's only what, 9 years ago now, and that I started that, and
Yeah.
then founded it probably 2 years in and stuff like that. But it really grew momentum really fast and started having impact, and people identified and were like, oh, there's something happening here. And it's intriguing and it's fascinating to watch the journey, and you can see
Yeah.
and feel the magic around it, because it's not, there's no clear path, and people are going, wow, it doesn't seem reckless because Karen seems to be, but it's because I was so open, so connected with my knowing what step to take next, knowing how to get in the back door for opportunities, knowing what opportunities I needed. It's just, it's epic. And I really enjoy using that as one of the intentions that I set that has come to fruition. It's just
And it
beautiful.
surely has, hasn't it, really, to be fair? And another thing then as well, you're going to think I swallowed up your book. And it's another thing then as well that people don't necessarily get, and it's what you're after talking about. So you set the seedling for Serenity Press, and then I suppose, and it's talked about in the book in different areas, but then intentions on getting ready to receive is every bit as important as setting the intention. You have to be ready to receive it. So whether, well, if you could explain that a wee bit better, but are we talking about decluttering, everything, or are we talking about inspired thoughts, taking action? What is that?
Well, it's getting mentally ready to receive. And that's where I was talking about, like, when I set the seed of an intention, like, it was just like, this, just putting out this big dream out there. How would it ever come to be? I could not have even fathomed it. So you have to do like a mindset upgrade every now and again. It's like a check-in, upgrade, because your mindset is not ready to receive that right now. If it was, you would receive it straight away because the universe is there to deliver. But the universe will actually deliver when you do all the work you need to receive. And it's the same with authorship. I talk about it in authorship, or I talk about it with any kind of intention. You will not receive it until you're ready emotionally and mentally, because I couldn't have done what I needed to do with it then had I got it straight away. So it's a journey of self-development, of evolution, but it's mindset, and it doesn't happen. You go from this mindset to this mindset in an instant. It's about getting, embracing the challenges and growing through each one of them, because that's what challenges are. They're little stepping stones. They're not there to stop you. Challenges are there to help you grow, to become the person you need to receive the intention that you set, because the intentions we set are huge. They're dreams. The things that we can't think, that we think are not, that are so big to us, and every one of us dreams differently. But when those dreams become reality, like every single dream I've set, and I've set an intention I've set many, and I've tested this many times. But when I receive it, I'm owning it. I'm there. My mind's there, and I'm absolutely owning it. Whereas when I set the intention, if I got it, I'd be fangirling it. I'd be, oh my God, I can't believe I got this. Oh my God. Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
It's, whereas when you're ready, you just cruise into it, and it's just like the next step. It feels so natural because you've done the work. And I think that's whenever people look at me and say, I've done all the work. I have faced fear right in the face and said, hey, how you going? Come on for the ride because I'm going ahead. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. And as I said, there's no real knowing, and that's why it's important to know how to know, because then you can make decisions with unwavering faith that you know where you're going. It's very powerful and a lot of fun.
And that's good then, that knowing comes before intent in terms of what we're talking about here. But another thing that I do as well, and I definitely think that it helps me with my intentions and belief and having the faith in it, is affirmations, and then being grateful whenever you receive even a small part of what your intention is, but you're still on the journey. But affirmations are big to me in terms of mindset, and having that faith and belief then that the intention has been set, and don't waver from it, and just keep my head down and keeping going.
I love affirmations. Affirmations help me shift gears into being in the mindset I need to be to receive. And gratitude, as we all know, gratitude is a beautiful thing, but it's actually very smart to be filled with gratitude, because it shifts you. Whenever you are grateful with all of your heart, it shifts you straight onto the vibration of receiving, because it's a beautiful flow. So it's kind of like a reward from the universe. But whenever you feel gratitude, you just feel so in flow. And it's not a selfish endeavor. It's something that you're actually truly grateful to a situation or to another person for. And that gratitude just is filled with love. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
love is the biggest power. It's the most powerful power of all, you know?
Oh, well,
It's
everything done with love works out, really, doesn't it?
yeah.
But I think, because we're talking about intention and not necessarily goals, although there is similarities, things
Mm,
like that need to, as you say, you've done the work.
yeah.
You need to be doing the work. You need to be growing your mind, and you need to be actioning the smaller things.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I love this idea now of inspired thoughts and acting on them, or taking, or believing in them, or whatever. Because I do it all the time now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just going to act on that because that's
Isn't it
potentially
so
an
fun?
inspired thought. Let's see where that goes.
Yeah, we said this before though, but me and Emma chat on WhatsApp all the time or on calls, and I'll say to Emma, right, I set this intention. She's like, "Oh shit, I'm going to watch that
That's
this
not going to
happens,"
happen.
and 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 she's like, "You blow my mind." I says, "I know I blow my own mind sometimes, but it's so much fun making it happen." But the one thing about intentions are and goals, Emma, goals are part of the intention, so they're
Yeah,
very important. Goals are part of the journey. But a goal is acting on an inspired thought, and so goals are part of the journey to the bigger, the intentions that you set as well. So they both go hand in hand. They're both equally as important. But I did play and just really challenge myself. Why did the book intention not come before the book knowing? Because you set the intention first and then you action the knowing to make it happen. And the reason why knowing had to come first is because you first have to know how to know
that's right.
before you set the intention. So you needed the skills there to know how to act when you set the intention. And that is why knowing had to come before intention.
But that's what I was thinking whenever we were talking about it, because that just kind of clicked with me whenever we were
Yeah.
having this conversation. Because you were saying you have to do the work, you have to have the mindset, you have to be ready. So you have to have implemented or understood the power of knowing before you can kind of go forward
Mhm.
and truly work on intent
Yeah. And it's, do you know
process.
what? It's all common sense. We all know it. I'm not saying anything in any of these books that everyone doesn't already know, but I do try to find interesting facts and have a conversational tone with my perspective that goes, oh, okay, I never thought of something like that
Yeah.
before. And just I'd like to offer an alternative perspective. And with intentions, it is all about perspective and belief and all of those kinds of things. And setting intentions it's like going on the biggest adventure in life. It's like you're just kicking off the heels and just saying, all right, life, bring it to me. I'm ready
Yeah.
for this adventure. And it's like going, I think of it as a movie, you know?
Yeah.
You just say, all right,
But
what's
when
next?
you know what you're trying to achieve or strive for, and as long as it's coming from a good place,
Hmm.
you will action. You will action things, and as we say about goals, whatever it is that comes your way, and don't miss opportunities, and just see
Yeah,
it all as being part of the bigger picture. And I
yeah,
definitely think that's really helpful.
yeah. And whatever I set an intention, it becomes part of me.
Yeah.
It doesn't protrude every single thought that I have, but it's there in my subconscious mind all the time. Like when I'm writing a book, I'm not sitting writing all the time, but in my mind,
In your head.
I have actioned writing a book, and until I
Yeah.
write that book, I won't stop. I won't feel as if I've achieved it. So, in my back of my mind, the book is coming together and it's getting ready to be written whenever I sit down to write or to dictate or whatever it is that I do. But that's the thing, and like setting an intention to write a book, I do it all the time now. Whereas that's a huge thing for people that can't even
Yeah.
fathom them for themselves. But that's where belief comes in, and we'll talk about belief, in week 7. But that's where you have to fuel your intentions with the belief that they're possible, no matter
Yeah.
how big and scary they are. That's the thing.
That's mad that you can even just rhyme it out. Okay, so belief is week 7. We'll talk about that then.
My 7 life principles are part of my DNA now.
I know, I know. And Karen, the book looks amazing. Oh my
Uh,
goodness, like that
uh,
is some feeling
It's
when that
and
comes through the
and
door.
that is me answering the call,
Yeah,
and I swear, and I can't tell you yet, I can't tell anybody yet, but I put a post up the other day saying magic is in motion, and when I put up a post like that, something that I have set the intention to achieve has had a breakthrough, and it's a matter of time for that just to. So something happened that just I got goosebumps all over my body because I would never have even thought of it. But it was an inspired thought that I acted on and did it in such an individual way that it got me attention. So, and the attention from the people I wanted to get the attention from. So that call's happening in a few weeks. So hopefully, you never know.
Yay! We do know, to be fair, we know. It's in the knowing.
Oh, I'm just like, wow, I blow my own mind sometimes. It's really amazing what happens when you set the intentions. It's absolutely insane. We've got Mary here. Hi, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Hi. Yeah, definitely. There's something in it, and it's great that you're explaining it verbally as well. Because, and I know what you were saying earlier on, but and you're saying also, you know, that this isn't, you know, new, that we should all know this, but there's definitely something about the written word and then having conversations that allows you to click with people in a different way, or recognize when that thought comes into their head, like I have done. That's an inspired thought. You need to act on that instead of thinking, well, I did do that, I suppose, with Mental Health International. I literally, people to be like, what? I woke up in the middle of the night and I happen to have a pen and paper beside my bed, and that's what I come up with.
And that's what word how dreams come true is you action and inspired thought. But we have like 80,000 thoughts a day, you know, but there's some of them that just ignite something within you, and you need to action them, because if you don't, someone else is going to. So why not you? And believe in yourself enough to do it.
And you know what? Find the right people. Find the right people if you need. Find your five to help you do it.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And that's why we both complement each other so much, because when you're mentally well and, you know, you have that support system around, like you are absolutely in my support system. Peace and Katie in the Women's Business School, you know, all they're my support tribe. You know, like if something's happening, I always message Peace and go, Peace, because Peace is part of my journey. Peace and Katie, if I hadn't have went to the 2015 Osmompreneur conference, my mind would never have opened up to endless possibilities, because I was in a different cycle in my life. I was very much embedded in motherhood, thought I was doing well just sitting in a little, you know, sitting at my kitchen table with my laptop, growing at what I thought I was, but I wasn't. I was stuck. But when I went there, had the inspired thought, and it was total. Usually, it happens at the most irrational time. You know, you could have 100 excuses not to do it or pursue it, but the call's so loud that you can't ignore it. You have to take action. And so I did. I brought Mary, was only a few weeks old at the time.
I remember, yeah.
Got her on the plane, we went over, and it was the best thing I ever done. I've never looked back from that moment. And like that's why I have so much you know, Peace and Katie are like our sisters, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And Peace is right. It is happening. I agree.
Yeah, you feel it, don't you? It's so much fun. It's just so much fun. All right, Emma, we're about to tip over the edge of time here. Always. But thank you everyone for watching, and I love sharing these principles here, because I was like, let's share the principles here in Weaverbirds Live TV. Hopefully they reach the people that need to you know, embrace them. And then when we're finished, we'll start having our guests again. But so much fun chatting about them with you, sis.
Oh, absolutely, definitely. We'll keep them going. I love the conversations.
All right, guys. Next week is, what's next week? Oh, gratitude.
Oh, cool. Happy days.
Yeah, gratitude would be fun. All right, guys. We'll see you all again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.